President Biden's shaky, hoarse voice. What's wrong with him?
Yes, he has had a cold for the past few days.
Of political malpractice by his staff to announce midway into the debate that he had a cold.
This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
For the media today to be like, wow, we just got the diagnosis. This is shocking. He can't run for president. Either they're really stupid, like too stupid to breathe unaided, or...
Welcome back to Rattlesnake TV, guys. In this video, we are going to discuss some of the most outrageous takes post-debate, including some almost unbelievable cope from the mainstream media. And we're also going to look at their fake BS reaction and shock to the debate being exposed and destroyed on multiple fronts. But first of all, let's start off with the big, shocking revelation. And this really does change everything. And I don't know how this bit of information slipped through our grasp, because it is a bombshell to say the least. Let's check it out.
Robert Costa, thank you. I want to turn to Nancy Cordes, who has been speaking with officials in the Biden campaign. And Nancy, I think the first thing that many people witnessed in watching this debate was President Biden's shaky, hoarse voice. What's wrong with him?
Well, Nora, we only found out what's wrong with him about halfway through the debate. We started asking right away. As soon as he took the stage, as soon as he opened his mouth and started speaking, he obviously sounded raspy. And so I started firing off texts to various Biden campaign officials, what's wrong with him, and got radio silence. One person said, well, maybe he just needs to warm up. And then about 45 minutes in, a slew of responses from White House and Biden campaign officials saying, yes, he has had a cold for the past few days. He was examined by his personal doctor, Kevin O'Connor, at Camp David. He tested negative for COVID, but he does have a cold, and that's why he is raspy. But that really begs the question, Nora, why they didn't let people know beforehand to sort of set expectations among the audience so people weren't taken by surprise, particularly when so many voters already have concerns about his age, about his stamina. I asked all those White House officials after they confirmed that he was sick why they hadn't said anything in advance. Nobody answered.
Mm-hmm. You know, Nancy, so much of the reporting that you have done all week on the evening news is that, you know, the Trump supporters, including the former president, said that Biden would be jacked up on drugs for this debate. But he really sounded like he needed some cold medicine to take before this whole event so that he could make some of his points. It was difficult to even hear him on some of the exchanges. Nancy Cordes, thank you.
So there it is, guys. How did we not notice this? I mean, I feel so stupid. Here I was, sitting here, thinking that he had some sort of serious dementia. Guilty.
Look, if...
But it turns out that that was just a false alarm and that he was, in fact, suffering from a cold.
I do want to ask you something. Do you think it was a bit of political malpractice by his staff to announce midway into the debate that he had a cold and not let people know that early on so they could have lowered the bar so people could have been ready for what we saw of Joe Biden in the beginning? You know, and again...
That question there is such a perfect encapsulation of the stupidity of these people. Do you think that it was political malpractice to announce halfway through the debate that he had a cold? No, it's not political malpractice. It's bullshit. It's an excuse that was born out of pure desperation is what that was. I mean, I've had a few colds in my time, spent a few winters in London, but I can't remember a cold ever giving me dementia.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the...
And there is plenty of political malpractice taking place. There's no shortage of that in the Democratic Party, but just not in the way that he's suggesting. And just when you thought that that was enough cope for one day, some Biden loyalists were hanging on to hope and saying, hey, look at this speech that he gave after where he galvanized the audience and received rapturous applause.
Let me close with this. I know I'm not a young man. State the obvious. Well, I know. Well, I don't. Folks, I don't walk as easy as I used to. I don't speak as smoothly as I used to. I don't debate as well as I used to. But I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth. I know right from wrong. And I know how to do this job. I know how to get things done. And I know, like millions of Americans know, when you get knocked down, you get back up.
You just can't keep a good man down, can ya? Just imagine the sort of brainwashed conditioning that you would have to be under to stand there and applaud loudly for Joe Biden and act like things are all gravy after that debate performance. I mean, if that doesn't stop this handful of people from going wild for Joe Biden, I don't know what will. Another one of my favorite reactions came from Joy Behar, who is just never far away from a very low IQ take. Check it out.
There was something about the debate that threw him into this state that he was in, because watch this. While Donald Trump was probably enjoying a celebratory platter of cheeseburgers, President Biden made an appearance at a watch party a little while after the debate, and he scarcely resembled the guy from earlier in the evening. This is really unbelievable. Watch.
Guys, I've been getting a lot of messages recently saying how YouTube has been unsubscribing people from my channel. So if you're a subscriber, please make sure that you're still subscribed. And if you're not a subscriber and you'd like to be, the door is open for you. And also, if you wouldn't mind liking the video, that'd be great. Back to it.
Look, folks, what's going to happen over the next couple of days is they're going to be out there fact-checking all the things he said. I can't think of one thing he said that was true. No, I'm not being facetious. But look, we're going to beat this guy. We need to beat this guy. And I need you in order to beat him. You're the people I've run for.
So suddenly, no colds. Suddenly he was 63. You know? Yeah. What happened?
So there you have it, guys. Joe was at a watch party after the debate where he was able to string together 2 sentences without shitting his pants in front of the Pope. Wow. We were wrong. The whole 90-minute debate that we watched, he just had a cold. And then after it, he was able to shake it off. And now he's back to his Olympic athlete, genius, expert, visionary, professional MMA fighter self. But what's more offensive is that Joy Behar believes that Donald Trump went and celebrated post-debate by having a platter of hamburgers. Well, joke's on you, Joy, because we have actual footage of Trump's celebrations. The Don does not miss, as per usual. But some of the worst reactions, in my opinion, and these are reactions that I think some people are making the critical mistake of making a positive out of, comes from the mainstream media talking heads abandoning the sinking ship. I know that sometimes we'd like to take whatever we can get our hands on, but never, ever, ever forget how much they lied to you. Until that debate, they literally scorned anybody who said that he was in any way unfit to run. And now they're pretending to be unbiased, as if they just call it how they see it. Doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. They're just that honest.
And I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
And I haven't really seen anybody pick this up, which surprises me. But they literally all, one by one, are too dumb to realize that they're admitting in their post-debate reaction that they get their messaging from some sort of a higher up. You just have to listen carefully to what they're saying.
I've been talking to a lot of leaders in the Democratic Party, electeds, coalition leaders. There's a full-on panic about this performance.
I, too, was on the phone throughout much of the debate with Obama world people, with Democrats, with people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic.
Yeah, it's almost like they're all communicating in the shadows about what the messaging is and then just parroting it as per usual, without any semblance of free thought.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Shocker, right? Now, just to hammer this home, let's have a look at these people committing some of the most egregious forms of deception and gaslighting imaginable. This way, we can not let these frauds off the hook, even as they get fed the messaging that we're ditching the old man.
Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows so long as she was 9.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
President Biden has a photographic memory. His understanding and mastery of a complicated geopolitical situation is remarkable.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I was sitting, 2 feet from him across the table, and he was, intense.
Have trouble walking sometimes? Yeah, so did FDR. He wanted GD war.
But he's totally focused. He's very sharp.
They say he's sharp in meetings and so on.
Very lucid, very well informed. Biden is stately, and he comes with gravitas. There hasn't been, as far as I know, a single claim that Biden made a mistake.
Ageism is an issue. Americans have a rich history of holding people's physical characteristics against them. Okay, you can ask African Americans.
He's older. That doesn't mean that he is unfit, and there's a lot of ageism there.
Now, this age attack, this obsession by the right.
Joe Biden may not be able to speak for himself the way that he used to.
They want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, and that's him lying around.
I think people should be speaking up for Joe Biden.
Americans and reporters in the media are just judging him by a physical appearance, and it's horribly unfair. Age is an asset.
He showed exactly how with it he is.
The flip side of this coin is that he has a tremendous amount of wisdom and experience.
Have you heard any concerns from anyone who has met with President Biden about him seeming a little slower?
No.
More wild speculation from a bunch of people who have probably never been in a room with Joe Biden and certainly don't have medical degrees that I'm aware of.
You don't get paid for performance to be president. The job is not a job of endurance. I don't see Donald Trump out bike riding like Joe Biden.
It's the Hillary's email. All they have is that he's old.
He can clear a dementia bar, and that's probably a win.
The media are not fair, and they're getting less and less fair, and things are frightening. You have Wall Street Journal running a horribly sourced piece saying that Biden is unfit.
Dubious Wall Street Journal report about the president's acuity.
Shoddy story by the Wall Street Journal questioning Biden's mental fitness.
Wall Street Journal story had a lot of flaws, as you said. But Sinclair, they didn't do any original reporting. They didn't follow up. They didn't do any work.
The hero of today is Hirsch Goldberg Poland, and still, he is not here with us, but he's still being held by Hamas.
But a huge part of the Mueller report talks about Russian disinformation tactics. And one of the themes this election cycle is that Joe Biden is too old to lead. And so everyone is seizing upon this. And it is a classic disinformation tactic.
American people deserve a debate because you need to see your choices. You need to see Trump, and you need to see the president, and you need to see the differences. And my husband's, and you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has. And then you'll see somebody who, like you're saying, I'm going to use Joy's words, can't put a sentence together.
So nothing but contempt for these people. Their mainstream media brand is obviously dying. And I'm not fooled for 1 second about their fake shock that, wow, Biden has dementia.
Hey.
Oh no, what is this?
Wow.
And Tucker summarized this perfectly during his most recent speech in Australia.
So they had to go to Joe Biden, and he actually became the nominee and then somehow became the president. But it was obvious the whole time that he had no idea where he was, and that it was cruel, and that his grasping, horrible wife who poses as a doctor was pushing this so she could go to state dinners. Well, I think he has dementia. He certainly does. Everybody knows, because they have, I can't remember, the internet. And it has video on it, and it takes about 15 seconds to determine the leader of the most powerful country in the world, with this mass nuclear arsenal involved in 2 simultaneous wars, doesn't know what day it is. And that's really scary. But if you come to the United States and you're in the media envelope, this fake world created by these disinformation specialists who run our media, That's never mentioned at all. It's like everyone pretend. It would literally be like everyone pretending Jacinda Ardern is like a legitimate person, which they may have done in New Zealand. I wasn't there. You know what I mean? Where people say, "Oh, that's the prime minister." What? It's ridiculous, actually. But everyone sort of plays along like it's not happening. And the whole Emperor's New Clothes story is based on this phenomenon, which is a very human phenomenon. But for the media today to be like, wow, we just got the diagnosis. This is shocking. He can't run for president. Kind of either they're really stupid, like too stupid to breathe unaided, or they're liars. They're truly dishonest. They're hiding the obvious from you. And I'm betting on the latter, but even more amazing was the response to that. So remember that our media are not just observers of reality or describers of reality, people who bring you the story first on the scene. No, they're the gatekeepers to reality. You don't know what the world looks like except through them. Like they are the pipeline through which all information flows. And in the United States, they're political actors. They work for a political party, in effect, if not officially. Like they all work for the Democratic Party.
Tucker nailing it as per usual. Now, last thing I would like to address here. A lot of people are saying, I feel bad for Joe Biden. I feel sorry for him. He's an old man with dementia. His family should be looking after him. Those around him should be protecting him from this, etc., etc. And from a compassionate human perspective, I can see it. However, I'm not about to shed a tear for Joe Biden. This is a guy who is one of the most corrupt, slimy politicians that Washington has ever seen.
I think I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. And I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours.
Here are the facts. He got a half scholarship and not a full one, and it was based on financial need, not in his great intellect. He also graduated 76th in a class of 85.
I know how to tell the truth.
He's prosecuting his political opponent as well as citizens who walked around the Capitol building on Jan 6 whilst letting illegal criminals roam free.
Another video emerges showing police getting attacked by migrants.
It happened as they were trying to make an arrest at a shelter on Randall's Island.
He's clearly making money off of the positions of his crackhead son with energy companies in China and Ukraine. God only knows how deep that rabbit hole goes. And now he's sending billions to Ukraine. Not suspicious at all. Now just imagine that was Trump for a second. Imagine Trump Jr. wasn't just a total game hunting Chad, but rather he was a crackhead who started randomly making huge amounts of money on the board of foreign energy companies with 10% going to the big guy or Donald Trump. Just imagine how hard the media, or the law for that matter, would come down on him. The double standard is disgusting. And this is why I don't really take the sympathetic position. I mean, yes, Jill Biden should be doing more to protect her husband, but you can't expect decency from these people. It's about fame, it's about money, it's about power, and it's about recognition. On the other hand, the Trump family is ride or die with each other. They stick by him through thick and thin. And if you want to get a good gauge of a man, have a look at his children and have a look at if his family respects him. And when you look at Barron Trump, what do you see? I see an emerging physical specimen of the highest order. I see regal power. I see Luke Skywalker in training to become a right-wing Jedi master of the galaxy. But when you look at Hunter Biden, what do you see? I see an overgrown child that had sex with his dead brother's widow. I mean, what do you expect from a family that treats each other like that? So yes, Joe Biden is old. He should be in a home or kicking back on a beach somewhere. But my thoughts on Joe Biden remain the same as they did in 2020 and as they did before this debate.
All of our partners, oh my God, it's just such an unbelievable moment.
Brandon, you also told me, as you can hear the chants from the crowd, let's go, Brandon.
So guys, that's it from me today. Make sure to find those links below, all my socials. And if you guys would like to subscribe to the channel, if you're not already, then right here. And if you'd like to watch another video, right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.